Welcome to the Stash Tour of 2024. There you go, that's my stash. I'm joking, obviously. I have quite a significant stash. It stands to reason that if I can have 30 works in progress going at any one time, actually, I'm not sure how many it is now because I've finished a bunch since I did my Whip Walk of Shame video, then it stands to reason I've got quite a sizable stash. Now, a couple of things before we dive in. You've got to bear in mind how I got here. You've got to bear in mind my personal journey. Everyone's journey is different, everyone's making is different, everyone's budget is different, everyone's access to yarn is different. And my access to yarn has been unique for the past few years. So as I mentioned, back in 2018, I discovered hand-dyed yarn. I was suffering from depression in a big way. I had no dependents, I had plenty of disposable income, and I found solace in online yarn shopping. So I built myself quite a significant stash in that first year, 2017 to 2018. Then I started dyeing yarn. So in 2018, late 2018, I started hand dyeing yarn. Now I have used a lot of my own hand dyed yarn and sold a lot of my own hand dyed yarn, but I was also doing swaps with other dyers and I was part of that whole world. 2019, I became the manager of a local yarn shop. This came with two things: a fantastic discount and very easy access to both natural fibres and high-end yarns. So I had a huge range to choose from. And I was also allowed some to make garments for myself for wearing in the shop. So there's that as well. Also, my friends and family knew that I loved yarn, that yarn had become kind of my life, as it were. And so I received gifts. I'm friends with dyers, so we did swaps. I also have a friend called Jude, who I think you know. You may know as Jude of Stranded Dye Works. And 2 years ago, or maybe coming up for 3 now, I don't know. But when his cat passed away, what he used to do was any yarns that he deemed were imperfect is he used to give them to the cat and they went in her cat bed and she used to like make a little nest in them. The cat passed away and I became the cat bed. He said, would you like some seconds? I'm trying to move them on. I'll send you a bag. I was like, yes, please. What arrived was 3 giant bags of yarn. I don't see the imperfections in his yarn, so I've obviously squirreled that away or Gollumed that away. And now I'm not going to do my Gollum impression again because I know how many of you there are now and it's embarrassing. Yeah, so please bear all of that in mind. Also, my stash tour is more for me looking at it because I'm not great at Ravelry. I don't record everything that comes in and make notes. I'm not terribly organised. You might have got that already from me. So it's as much for me to look through and sort out. And the reason I'm doing this now is because I've got this thing. It happens where I just want to clear the decks and tidy. It happens about after Christmas every year. Excuse me, cat's on the table. So the purpose of this video is for me to see what I've got and for making plans going forward, easier than hefting all the boxes out. It's a great time for me to do it because I'm in the middle of organising my yarn. We did have I had 3 of these giant boxes just stacked up in my bedroom, and my bedroom is not the safe, relaxing haven I wanted it to be. So there's the time for that as well. However, we're all quite nosy creatures, aren't we? We all like a little peek into what other people are doing. So I thought I'd share it with you. And this is my stash. So I'm going to pass on to Gemma of a couple of days ago, who is feeling slightly overwhelmed at what's going on. And then I'll meet you back here to talk about these boxes. See you in a sec. Right, now it's time to start tackling the stash. So my plan is that under the bed is going to go the yarn I'm going to reach for the most. That was right, wasn't it, Alan?
Yeah,
And
very unlikely to use in the next month or so.
in the next month. I love his optimism. So if I have one of those small black ones and put all my sock yarn that are definitely going to be socks in that, because I consistently knit through that, don't I?
Yeah.
I knit a lot of socks. Yeah. So if I have one black one for under the bed with sock yarn in. Do you ever start something and immediately wish you hadn't? That's kind of how I feel at the moment. I get like this every year. I get this urge between Christmas and New Year to just clear the decks, get everything tidied and sorted, and just sort everything out. It goes two ways. Sometimes I want to organise, sometimes I just want to throw everything and just go completely minimal. Anyway, I started today, in my infinite wisdom, organising my yarn. We've bought underbed boxes, and the idea is we're going to stop, because there's not much storage in our bedroom. Our bedroom is not the safe haven we want it to be. It's not restful, it's not relaxing, and we just seem to be moving chaos from one room to the other. So I've decided to try and sort it out. And I thought I'd start with my yarn. And I don't know why. Because, oh my gosh. Okay, so this is where I left it when I came for my dog walk. Holy mother of God. Now, bear in mind, with my stash, it's a little bit different. Hang on, I'll turn you around. I need to talk to you. It's done that thing where my front camera's yellow. Very strange. But I need to see what I'm doing because I pulled some weird faces in the first one. So my stash probably seems excessive, but think about all the ways in which yarn came to me. I've actually destashed quite a lot. Some of it's been gifts from friends and people and followers, and it's wonderful. So after a destash, this is what I've got. I look really yellow. I'm not ill, I promise. It's just my front camera. So I've started sorting out my sock yarns, and that's what you've seen originally. I've sorted out, I've got 2 boxes of sock yarns so far, and it's not all done. So I've actually brought up, it's fallen over, so whether anything's still in it or not, I don't know. There we go. I've brought up this basket of yarn, which was my winter basket, because I kind of want to get ready for spring now. And I'm going to pull the sock yarn out of that as well. And all the sock yarn is going in boxes under the bed. Now, the reason it's going under the bed is because, in theory, that's the stuff I'm going to reach for the most often. I've always got a pair of socks on the go. As of this moment in time, I have completed 19 pairs of socks in 2024. I'm trying to make it 20. I really, really want it to be 20. I just like the idea of having done 20. Yeah, so, oof, my arm's aching. Can I prop you somewhere? Can I prop you? Oh, look, you can sit in the basket of yarn. Oh, there we go. Still yellow. Yeah, I quite like the idea of having done 20 in 2024 for no other reason than I like the sound of it being 20, a complete number. So yeah, so that's what I've started doing. As it stands, we cannot currently go to bed because there are 2 boxes in a basket of yarn and and then there's another big box here. There are boxes everywhere. So the plan is, as I said at the beginning, the children's memory stuff is going up into the loft. It's going to be really, really well sealed, and it's going up into the loft. Yarn that I'm going to reach for in the immediate now is going under the bed. And yarn that is a bit longer or long term will go in boxes in the airing cupboard. And my husband's calling me. Be right back. This is my advent calendar from Marcus. And look, because he's very, very naughty, look what he's done. He's sent me, excuse the rustling, hang on. He has sent me a big gay Christmas tree for my lovely prize winner for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. But there are 2 skeins in here. So one is for me. One is for me and one is for the prize winner. Isn't that naughty? And because I'm organising my yarn at the moment, that's a full skein of sock yarn, I'm going to be naughty. And I'm going to take this out and put it in my sock box. But I just wanted to show you because I just think it's marvellous and I'm very, very lucky. I'm a very lucky girl. What I have here is the rest of my advent calendar that I dyed that I didn't show you during Vlogmas because I'm the most awful Vlogmas podcaster, apparently. So I will, when I've got good light, I will show you my advent calendar. But for now, I'm going to return the ones I've got out already. I think this is Katy Perry Cozy Christmas. I'm going to return these to the bag and I will show you later on when I've got some decent light. So hold me to that if it's not forthcoming. Okay, so these 2 boxes behind me were the easiest to organise. These are yarns that have plans. So by that I mean they're yarns either bought for a purpose, which does occasionally happen, or they're yarns where I have picked the pattern and I know what's going to happen to them already. These boxes I'm doing first because they're the ones that are going to live in our airing cupboard. This big cupboard on the landing, but they're going to be behind things. So I need to know what's in them so that if I do make my poor husband drag them out for me, then it's with reason. The yarns that I'm shopping from are going to be in our wardrobe, so I can get those out myself a bit easier. The sock yarns, as you saw, and I haven't done I'm going to put a full picture, I should have by now, put a full picture of all the sock yarns out for you to see, because my son started coming to help me organise those. They're all going to be socks. They are under my bed because socks are what I pull from the most often. As the time of recording this, I have completed 19 pairs of socks this year. So I definitely want that yarn easily grabbable. So let me show you the plans I have got for this yarn. This is in no particular order, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the yarn, or a skein of the yarn. I'm gonna talk you through what the yarn is and what the plan is for it. There are no deadlines for this because I don't work well with deadlines. If I have a deadline, I dig my heels in and ignore it like a willful toddler. So there we are. So this is from the Yarn Dispensary, theyarndispensary.co.uk, and it is beautiful. It's a long discontinued yarn, and it is called Dovestone Natural Aran, and this was from the company Bar-Ramu. Bar-Ramu's had quite a journey. It was an independent yarn company and yarn shop in Yorkshire, and unfortunately during the pandemic it succumbed, as lots of businesses did, to external pressures, and it had to shut down. But before it did, we were offered the chance to get the Dovestone Natural Aran, which it smells so sheepy even now, and I've had this in my stash for about 4 years. I've had it for 4 years. It's been part of my stash for about 2.5. And it is 50% Blueface Leicester, 25% Wensleydale Longwool, and 25% Masham. 170 metres to 100 grams, so it's a light Aran. It's this beautiful chocolate brown. Now the reason we've got this, and I've got about 10 skeins of it here, is because my boss absolutely loved it, John. He really, really loved it. And he dropped several not very subtle hints that he would quite like a sweater in it. So I spoke to Vanessa, his wife, and I said, look, it's not selling. For whatever reason, this one didn't sell. Shall I pull it and make John a jumper out of it? And she bought the yarn from the shop and is here ready to make John a jumper. I'm going to go for a really classic plain jumper. I think I've got a picture of the one I'm planning here for you. Just completely plain, completely classic, something he can pull on easily. His style is very classic. Project number 2. This is James C. Brett's Stonewash DK, a complete departure from the previous one. This is 100% acrylic. I actually have done this project once already. I will put a picture of it here. It is the peanut vest that I did without the colour work, and that's by Tin Can Knits. I did one and gave it to my nephew, and I'm going to do another one for my son. So that's that. And when I get that on the needles, it should hop off relatively quickly. Now, this gorgeous yarn, which looks a kind of tomatoey, orangey red in my screen, is, I think, an alpaca silk blend dyed by Almus, who is Witchcrafty Lady. And I picked this up at the Summer Wool show last year before we moved down to Devon, with the idea of turning it into a Christmassy jumper for my son. Not for this Christmas just gone, or even the Christmas before. I knew that wouldn't be the case because it's such beautiful yarn, but maybe for 2025. And actually, as it happens, my son has now decided that his favourite colour is red. So this is going to work out really, really well. It's a 4-ply yarn. I'm not sure what pattern it's going to be yet, but I know the project it's for, if that makes sense. I know the person, the size, what I want to do, haven't found the pattern. So I've got 2 skeins of this 4-ply yarn, which would be plenty to get a sweater for him for next Christmas. Can you hear that I'm full of cold again? I've been ill since October at this point, and I've had enough of it. Right, this isn't a second, as far as I'm aware. It was just a present. I'm pretty sure it was just a present. I say just, it was a lovely present from Jude. And this is actually a set that goes with this hat by Isolde Teague. Jude collaborated with her and dyed some yarn specifically for this design. I'm in 2 minds as to whether I'm going to do the colourwork hat that this was intended for, or whether instead I'm going to do something else colourworky with it. But I know this is in here, if that makes sense. Next up, I have 5 balls. The ball bands have popped off. Of, again, a departure, because we've gone from Jude's, which he hasn't put on here what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's Merino DK. It's 200 grams of, I believe, acrylic again, 100% acrylic, which is James C. Brett Marble Chunky. Now, this was very kindly given to me by one of my students at the Yarn Dispensary. She'd bought 5 balls of it, and she decided she didn't love it. And so she gave it to me, which I feel very, very lucky for. And trying to find the right pattern did prove a bit of a challenge, but I think I've got one, and it's here. Excuse the shine. Can you see? It's like a faux fisherman's rib roll neck jumper. It goes up to a 48-inch bust. So while I wouldn't call this necessarily size inclusive, it's not the worst that you can get. A lot of companies only go up to a 42, which obviously is no good for me. So yeah, and I got that from the Wells Knitting Centre in Wells in Somerset, which incidentally is where Hot Fuzz was filmed. There's a fun fact for you. This is one where I know these 4 have to go together in a project, but I haven't yet decided on the project and I need your help. Okay, so this is the audience participation moment. Are you ready? I need your help. My lovely friend Mina, the knitting expat, went to Amsterdam. And when she came back from Amsterdam, and I can't believe this, she presented me with this. 4 skeins of bicycle yarns. It is a fingering weight. It is 100% South American merino wool. In these beautiful colours that are just, well, they're just me, aren't they? Blues and teals, my all-time favourite colours. What shall I make with them? Hit me up with your suggestions. I'm open to a shawl. Definitely not socks. But yeah, what shall I make with this that's going to have them all together shown off beautifully? Please put your suggestions in the comments below. Okay, now this one I feel slightly guilty about. For my birthday in 2019, when I had just taken over the yarn shop, my boss said to me, John, he said, go and choose yourself some yarn from the shelf and you can make yourself something lovely. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And I chose 2 skeins of fibre space Vivacious 4-ply in colourway Blush. And it's 100% superwash merino. So it's dyed. Fibre Space is Jenny, who is also Chester Wool Company. And it's their hand-dyed yarn range. And it is a beautiful high twist merino. And you can see it's variegated. Now, I bought this with the intention of making the tenure tee. I'm now not sure about the tenure. I have found some alternatives and I'll put some pictures up here. I just haven't got around to it because it felt too self-indulgent knitting for me when I should have been knitting for the shop and I was focusing on the business and all the rest of it. So I put this to one side because this was a project just for me and it felt wrong and self-indulgent to cast it on. But there we go. This is a very new addition. I went to Wool in Bath and picked up Yorkshire Yarns Gargrave Tweed 4-ply. Now, I am 99% certain that Yorkshire Yarns was started by the person who used to run Bar Amu. And it's beautiful. It's 100% pure new wool spun in Yorkshire. It's this beautiful port wine red colour. It's looking slightly more, it's actually more purple than it's showing up on my screen in front of me here. It's so beautiful. And I bought this because one of the folk that was helping out at the shop had this gorgeous knitted bow in her hair. And I bought the pattern, so I'll put a picture up here. And it was my intention to do it for my goddaughter for Christmas. Didn't happen. I think I'm now going to do it for my friend, her mother, for next Christmas, because I think she needs something a little bit lovely in her life. You'll be pleased to hear that this box is nearly finished. So this is yarn from That Crafty Stitch, which was until very recently an online business. She now has her very own bricks and mortar store here in Torquay. I'm so excited for Sam. She's worked so hard and absolutely deserves every success. This is 100% micro polyester. It's a chenille type yarn. And it's this beautiful foresty green. I've got 10 balls of this that I bought in November 2023 with the hopes of making a blanket for my husband's office cum man cabin. My husband's actually studying for his master's in forestry at the moment and his favourite colour is green. And because it was going to go on the bed in his man cabin, it needed to be machine washable. It needed to like stand up to everything. We've got 2 cats, a dog and a baby, which sounds like a really bad sitcom, but there we are. So I've got 10 balls of that to make a throw. I did cast it on before Christmas, but frogged it because I wanted to do something bold, like a big moss stitch thing with one big chunky cable running up through it. But it wasn't popping enough. So back to drawing board with that one. Okay, down to the last couple. We are pretty much done. So this is, I got it from Nora George. I got it from a D-stash. I think it might have been from Sharon of the Knitting Project podcast D-stash, and it's Nora George Yarns Peter Rabbit, and I bought this when I was expecting Robin, with the full intention of doing him a little cardigan in it with this as the cuffs. Now, I didn't get round to it and he outgrew it. So now I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure whether to save it for when he's grown up and maybe has babies of his own, or whether or not to just cast on a pair of special socks for me. So I've got 100 grams of the mane, and I can't even read this anymore, 20 grams of the contrast. So again, what would you do with this special yarn? It's absolutely beautiful. And it was bought for when I found out I was expecting my son. Yeah, just looking at it makes me really happy because it's a really special time. Something like we never thought it would happen. We'd given up hope of ever having a living child at home, and we're just so lucky. And this yarn makes me feel so lucky. This one, again, back to a departure. So we've got a hand-dyed, we've got yarn from Amsterdam, we've got yarn from Stranded Dye Works, we've got Yorkshire yarns, we've got British wool spun in Yorkshire, we've got 100% acrylic, we've got micro polyester, and now we've got this. This is King Cole Tropical Beaches DK in the Lara Beach colourway. This was ordered in for me especially by Soft Touch Needlecraft in Tavistock here in Devon, one of my clients for Search Press. 70% premium acrylic and 30% polyamide, which typically is like a nylon type thing. I made myself a pair of socks in this. Now this was, one ball of this was given to me by my friend Maddie, who is, why did I go blank on her name? Her podcast is House of Langford. She's Overall Sews and House of Langford on social media. And she gave me a ball of this because it's called the Lara Beach. And now, by now you all know about my daughter Lara, how special that is. And I loved it and I love knitting it, and it was so soft. And I just became absolutely overcome with this desire to have this ridiculous stripy summery jumper in the Lara Beach colourway. And actually when I was at Yarningham Festival, I frightened this poor woman. I went, oh my gosh, that's Lara Beach. And she was wearing a full sweater knit in it. And I'd already had this on order from Soft Touch Needlecraft in Tavistock. So my plan for this is I've got 6 balls of 150 grams and 200 grams, 510 meters on each. So I can do myself my thought here, right? I haven't found the pattern for it yet because it's DK, and the only pattern I've found so far is in 4-ply, but I want to do a batwing sweater. I want to do a big old batwing sweater. Yeah, that's my plan for that. So there we go. Right, we're almost there. Now, I mentioned that Jude was destashing. He also was giving yarn away. He did a for sale destash, but he also did a bit of a giving away yarn to his friends that he thought might like them. Of yarns that he'd had in stash that his personal taste had moved on from, or he no longer wanted the project he bought it for. And he gave me, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 9 skeins of this Designer's Choice, Elizabeth Lovold Designer's Choice Silky Wool, which is, it's called Grove of Pine. It's 45% wool, 35% silk and 20% nylon, from knittingfever.com. And it's this gorgeous foresty green. I did offer it to my husband as a little sweater. It's 175 meters, but he doesn't like, well, he doesn't like it, he loves it, but he knows he wouldn't wear a sweater in it. So I'm not uncertain as to what to do with this. I've got 9 hanks of this to work with. So I've got the best part of 1,000 meters, I think. How many meters did I say it was? 175 meters, and I've got 9 of them. Yeah. So, any ideas for that one? They're in this box because I know they're going to go together as a project. I'm just not certain of the project, if that makes sense. Right, we've got one last one, and my husband's coming down the garden path. Can we do it? Last one. this was cast on for the Julia cardigan by West Yorkshire Spinners, and I used Scrumptious 4-ply, which is a silky blend, and I cast it on, went wrong, ripped it out, I haven't touched it since, but I've got 5 balls of this beautiful Scrumptious 4-ply by Superwash Silk and Merino by Fibre Space, so again by Jenny, and I just love that colour. So that's it. That's one box done. I'll see you later or tomorrow for box number 2. Right, it's a wee bit later. Robin has just gone off for the afternoon to his grandparents. The plan is we're going to meet up later and do the Bay of Lights walk, which is beautiful and twinkly and may or may not make it onto a video, but I thought we'd do this box. Oh no, he forgot to take his launcher with him. Oh, he's going to be sad. Okay, never mind. He'll be all right. He'll get over it. Okay, so box number 2 of Projects with a Plan. First one, my hand-dyed yarn. I think there is 1 or 2 of these bundles left. They're £30. And what it is an undyed and a dyed BFLDK. And yeah, Superwash Blueface Leicester, and it's for the Whale Song, which is by Mina Phillips. This is one of the kits. Look how pretty my ball bands are. I got proper and professional right at the last minute, just before I shut everything down. Isn't that sad? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? I think I am. I feel a bit sad about it. Just because I loved it. I love dyeing yarn, but it's not a living, and I've got other grown-up things to worry about. And teach training is lucky. And yeah, don't get all philosophical now, Gemma, not when you're looking at yarns. So anyway, number 1. Project number 2, I'm a bit grumpy about. This is beautiful West Yorkshire Spinners Croft in Norby, and I can't remember what the grey is. Laxfirth or Lerwick or something like that. There is a cat licking my big toe. Very peculiar, but at least it's not washing its bum today, so it's a Christmas miracle. Yeah, and this is for this here jumper, and this was meant to be a skills swap. So the gardener loved this jumper. He said he would love someone to knit it for him. And I said, my garden needs doing. If you give me a couple of days gardening, I will make you this jumper. And he went, oh no, I could only give you 1 day. Which was a little bit awkward because the yarn itself cost me 80 quid. And obviously then there's the knitting time as well. But in this industry, the actual craft isn't valued. And so to him, 80 quid worth of yarn plus all the hours and hours and hours of my time was not worth, more than 1 day of gardening help. As it happened, he never managed to get round to mine to do it. I mean, I was going to do it anyway. It was fine. I was grateful for the day of gardening help. But I never actually did it. I thought, I'm not going to start it until I've got you in my garden. Because it just doesn't seem right. So this is going to be that jumper, but whether I'm going to be generous and send it up to him in his new home anyway remains to be seen. We shall see. What would you do? Would you do what I would call the honourable thing and get it done anyway, or not? Okay, so this I bought, and it's a bit of a mess, for the Rosa cardigan or jumper. I just wanted this ballet pink cardigan, which actually probably isn't very me, but I love it and I love the idea of it. And what I've got to do this with is Scrumptious 4-ply, which is that beautiful silk merino blend from Fibre Space. And here's a blast from past, Debbie Bliss Angel. Can't get this anymore. And this is 76% mohair, 24% silk. Now, we can all imagine how I'm going to do with mohair, can't we? I'm just going to have a mask and my inhaler. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so I've got several balls of each of those to do that project with. And I do still kind of want it. And I am going to make it, but I'm not. I think at the moment I'm in my country toddler mum era, which involves a lot of mud and a lot of getting wet and having adventures outside. And so really there's no need for me to have a beautiful pink silky ballet cardigan, is there? We'll see. That would be really indulgent. Next, Stranded Dye Works. There's a bit of a pink theme going on here at the minute. Stranded Dye Works, and this is Popcorn Garland, which was Jude's last, I believe it was his last ever Christmas colourway. And I've got it in Surrey alpaca lace and merino nylon fingering. This was actually a present from Jude because he's gorgeous and spoils me rotten. I bought a skein of each for a design, the Popcorn Garland cowl. This is my design. I designed it specifically for this yarn, and then he went and packed up dyeing, but hey ho. And I had it at work, and a colleague of mine kept wearing it. She kept pinching it and wearing it and loving it. And I said, you know what, if you like it that much, you can have it. And she said, oh, really? Thank you. I was like, yes, you can. You're welcome. So I gave it to her, and I said to Jude, when he was doing the final sort of, is there anything anyone wants dyed? I said, if you happen to be doing any of that, could you please let me know and I'll buy it? And because he's an absolute stinker, he sent me a skein of each down. So I'm going to remake my Popcorn Garland cowl, and it's very precious. This was an indulgence. It didn't feel like an indulgence, but it was an indulgence. It's Truly Hook's Blanket Club. Truly Hooked, as I think I mentioned, was the first indie dyer I bought from. And what you got was two 50-gram skeins a month for 10 months. So I've got a lot of yarn. I can't do the maths at this time of day when I'm working on this little sleeve. The reason I've not done anything with it is because I thought about how much I'd spent on it across the year, and it was over £200. And it's worth it. It's totally worth it. But I now have the fear. You know, the fear. It's like when, hold on. It's like when you get a brand new notebook. It's beautiful. It's full of promise. And it's terrifying. There is nothing so scary as a blank piece of paper. And frankly, there is nothing so scary as 200 quid's worth of beautiful yarn that you could ruin by choosing the wrong project for it. Tell me I'm being silly. I am being silly. I know, don't start licking your bum. No one wants to hear that. For goodness sake, you were doing so well. Every time I get the camera out, one or two of them arrives and starts licking their non-existent nethers. It's almost like they go, do you feel sorry for us? We've been chopped. But anyway, old boy. Plus he's going to put cat fluff all over my arm, which I don't like. So am I being silly? I think the answer is probably yes. What would you make with it? I've toyed with the idea of a Battenberg. I've toyed with the idea of just doing a plain garter stitch something. I've toyed with the idea of granny squares and putting them all together, but then I have to get the thing to put them all together with. And what would I put them all together with? You can see what's happening. I'm going round and round and round in circles. So this is Blanket Club, which should in theory be a blanket. I could turn it into a cardigan. I could turn it into a cardigan. There's enough there for it to be a cardigan. But would I wear said cardigan? Would it get snagged by the dog's claws? Would it get... You see, round and round I go. Being a toddler mum, it's great fun, but it's messy. This, I'm not going to get it out of the packet. It's newer, sport weight, and I've got 2 or 3 of the grey, 1 of the green. I thought it'd make a really sweet little vest. And I've got 1 of the blue in there as well for Robin, but he has moved on from greys and blues, and he is firmly in his red era. I like that. I like the way, there's a lot of things that young people say now that make absolutely zero sense to me, like, oh, slay and spill the tea, and, you know, I don't want to spill the tea, I want to drink my tea. But being in an era, I can totally get behind. I like it. It's like a celebration of a phase of life. And I'm currently in my grubby toddler mum era. And I'm here for it. That's another thing they say. I'm here for it. And the Americans keep saying, I love that for you. And it's so sweet. It's such a sweet thing. I was in a presentation, a work presentation earlier in the year. I'm digressing now, sorry. It's because I'm stroking the cat and fondling yarn. I can't wait to show you this. More pink, more pink. I don't like pink. What's wrong with me? And the whole presentation was about products that we were taking on board. And they said, things that we love for you. And we love this for you. And we love that for you. And at the end of it, I just kept saying it to wind people up. But it's actually quite a really sweet thing. Is it an all-American thing? Is it a new thing? Tell me if you're from America. I know a lot of you are. Where does that phrase come from? I quite like it. It's quite sweet. Right. Anyway, it does get irritating when it's said constantly for 6 hours, but then I repeat myself a lot and irritate people as well. This is precious. Stranded Dye Works, BFL nylon, 80/20 in grubby pink. Now, I bought this from a friend's D-stash, and I've got something like 5 skeins of it, I think. 5 skeins of it, and the intention was to knit this for my son's christening. He was christened in 2022. These are still in hanks. I would love to knit myself a skirt like that with this yarn. I think it would be lovely. But again, I'm in my toddler era. So, and I live in Devon and it's muddy. There's so much iron. Oh, I know why the sand is red now. It's the iron oxide that's present. There we go. That's what makes it all red. It's iron oxide, iron rich. So there we are. So that was for that skirt. And I do kind of still want to make one, but it might be an in the future situation. I could change completely and turn that into a jumper for myself, but I don't often knit for myself, as you will see in my next video, which is everything I knit in 2024. I said I wasn't going to do one of those videos, but I think I am going to do a quick recap. I think I need to, just because of the number of people that are slightly concerned about the number of works in progress I have and that I possibly never finish anything. I finish things, let me tell you that. Right, this one was a sample. This is King Cole Forest DK in this beautiful, it's a recycled Aran. It's 35% wool, 20% acrylic, 20% polyamide, 25% viscose, 300 metres per 100 grams. So it isn't really an Aran, is it? 300 metres per 100 grams. It says Aran. And the gauge is 25 rows and 18 stitches on 5mm needles. So it kind of like a heavy worsted. And I bought this to test out for the yarn dispensary before I left. And I was going to make a harvest cardigan in it. And I started it, got it wrong and frogged it. But I still would quite like the harvest cardigan. Now, this isn't yarn that I bought with the yarn dispensary money. I bought it with my own money to try it out. And there we go. So I've got 6 balls of that. And that'll be the harvest cardigan by Tinker Knits. We are nearly there. Okay, we're almost there for things that have projects. This stunning, beautiful purple Aran is for my friend's 70th, and she's going to be 73 this year, possibly 74, and it's still in the hanks. This is for, I believe it's called the Traveller Jumper. It was a cabled, all over cable pattern that was in a knitting magazine a few years ago. And I bought the yarn and I did the thing where I thought, it's over a year until her 70th birthday. I've got forever, and promptly didn't do it. And each year it gets to about this time of year where it's November, December. November, I'm thinking, oh, I need to get these Christmas bits finished first, then I'll cast that on, because her birthday is actually the same day as my daughter's birthday. So in my head, I've still got a good 3-4 months to do it, even though February is only 2 months after December. And actually, Christmas is the end of December, so you've got about 6 weeks. So I'm not sure I'm equal to casting this on and getting it done in 6 weeks. It could be the ultimate challenge. Could I do it and post it down? I certainly think it would send her into shock. So the yarn is, I've flung it back in the bag and that's showing you, it's called Purple 13 is the shade, and it is Debbie Bliss Falkland Merino Aran, which is a great loss to the yarny community. I think you can still get it online. I think Love Crafts have it exclusively, Debbie Bliss yarns. What's going on with my hair? I think they have it exclusively, and it is 100% Falkland merino, and it is so buttery soft. So the yarn I'm using for for Robin's great grandma's flax is the kind of port colour in that. I've got this, and I think there's something else I've got in it as well, but I'll show you it later. It is blue cotton that I was going to re-knit a jumper that I knit for my grandma a couple of years ago that doesn't fit her very well. I was given this by a friend, by Jackie, and she said this would work really well for it. It's a cotton yarn, and as you can see, it's not done. Here's a picture of the finished jumper, first time round. Oh, I forgot about this one, and I wanted to do it for Christmas. Oh, it'll have to be Christmas next year. So these are the Winter Deer Mitts by Charlotte Stone, and it's a Lucy Locketland kit. So it's colourwork mittens with these beautiful yarns from Lucy Locketland. So I might have to keep this out and cast this on ready for a Christmas present for next year. The next one is the Lara's Legacy Socks in very special yarn. This was dyed by Brambles and Me in the Hot Toddy colourway. And this was a collaboration because her nephew, bless his heart, was born very poorly and unfortunately passed away. And so she wanted to raise money as well. Both of us wanted to raise money for the NICU. So this is called the Tender Heart. It was an exclusive colourway, Tender Heart colourway, dyed by Mia of Brambles and Me. And it's for Lara's Legacy sock pattern, which raises money for Bliss. I don't know if I've got any more pictures inside. So that is, again, a very special one that I will be doing. I just want to find the right time to do it, if that makes any sense. I don't know, it's never felt the right moment to cast it on. This bag doesn't have plans, and I will take a photo and show you later, but it was from a yarn swap I did. And it's beautiful yarns like this one, Nostaban Vestlandsol, which is Nordic wool, and then Tinder Pelsagon. Yeah, so you've got these beautiful yarns that I don't know what to do with. So I'm keeping that until the right project tells me that they have to go together. And the final thing I've got to show you in this box is, again, a blast from the past. This is Ella Ray Phoenix DK. It's a cotton, an Egyptian cotton, and it's for this jumper that my mum saw in a magazine and really wanted knitted for her. So I bought the yarn. Once again, it's in the skein. So you can see my situation. I very, very frequently knit socks. I knit accessories, so hats and cowls, things for gifts, and I knit baby things. Those are the things I typically finish. With regards to sweaters and garments, I plan them. I have fun planning them, and not many of them actually come to fruition. Certainly adult sized ones. So maybe that is, I didn't have any New Year's resolutions last year. And in fact, one of my resolutions was not to knit any gifts. And I've knit over 30 gifts. So maybe not setting resolutions is the way to go. But there we are. There is the stash tour. So you've seen all my sock yarn. You've seen all the yarn I already have plans for. I'm going to pop in a little video montage of the rest of my yarns. So these are yarns that have been given to me, that I have bought over time. A lot of them came from Jude when he was clearing out his stash and clearing out his dye studio. He gave me a lot. And I don't have plans for, but I'm going to have so much fun putting colours together and figuring out what I'm going to do with them. I'm not really in a position to buy yarn anymore, certainly not in the way that I did. So I'm not wanting to destash any of this. I've already destashed significantly before I moved. This is probably about half of what I did have. And I did let things go that I knew I wasn't going to use, or, you know, I can't even remember the reasoning for it, or things that I knew would be loved somewhere else and used, I think was the big thing. I didn't want to schlep it all the way across the country, because it cost thousands to move all our stuff across the country, for it to just sit and not be used. but I'm not getting rid of anymore because I love what I've got. A lot of it I have plans for. And also, as Robin grows, I'm going to be shopping my stash and using that. So the yarn I've got should hopefully see me for a good few years yet. It is quite imperative that I knit some more socks though, because those boxes under my bed are struggling to shut and I do live in fear of moths. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little stash tour. Here's what follows is the montage of what I've got left, and I will see you in 2025. Isn't that exciting? Take care. Bye.
How many smiles does it take to be happy? How many times do you have to feel lonely before you get the chance to meet someone, before you get to meet someone like you? How many songs can you write about heartbreak? How to go on when you're fed up with mistakes? Maybe I just found the answers. Maybe I just found the answers in you. Come give me all your love. I want you to know we can make it together. Let the wind blow. All we need is each other. Come take my hand. You're all that I have now. I won't let you go, 'cause I found all the answers in you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Take me away. I'm okay if I got you. We don't have to stay. We can do what we want to. Just give a little bit of your heart. Give a little bit of your heart to me. All of my scars start to heal when I'm with you, and I can't explain how I feel when I'm with you. Just give a little bit of your heart. Give a little bit of your heart to me. Just come give me all your love. I want you to know we can make it together. Let the wind blow. All we need is each other. Come take my hand. You're all that I have now. I won't let you go, 'cause I found all the answers in you. Ooh, 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 take me away. I'm okay if I got you. We don't have to stay. We can do what we want to. Baby, I just found the answers. Baby, I just found the answers in you.